Hello, hello. All right, Leos, let's go ahead and jump on in. As you can see, we had to change up that backdrop because I couldn't take any more snow. So you guys know I changed this up on Sunday, I think. But let's get into this. We have Violet, faithfulness and modesty. And this is a quote by Madame Guizot. It says, modesty is a shining light that prepares the mind to receive knowledge and the heart for truth. This, I don't know, the fact that we have this beautiful little violets that seem to be very sweet, kind of associated with little shy flowers. But this is not really the vibe of Leo at all. Leos tend to be more gregarious, more outgoing. Doesn't mean that they have to be, but that modesty is a shining light that prepares the mind to receive knowledge and the heart for truth. Let's take a look. Is there some, just because Leo can be outgoing and powerful in some areas, that doesn't mean like many bold people can still also be shy. Many people that are powerful can also still you go out and you get the job done and you push aside yourself and your fears in order to do what has to be done, but it doesn't mean that you're uber confident on every front. This could be a character like we could be dealing with a Leo who's really good at something that they do for a living, but when it comes to them like expressing themselves and really telling their life story, they may be pretty modest about that. They may also be very modest about not really bragging on themselves. But it's interesting because we have that Two of Pentacles that is speaking of a Leo who's finding a huge amount of balance right now. What is the balance that they're looking for in their life? The Hierophant. I don't know. This could be a weird situation where Leo is finding themselves like trying to learn a lesson. And they're saying, okay, let me be quiet and let me absorb what the lesson is. There's a reason I'm here. Maybe this is something Leo paid to go learn how to do. And they're in the class and they're like, okay, I already know how to do all this. Okay, I already know how to do all that. Gosh, this is tough to sit through a class where 98% of the material, maybe I already have worked well beyond that level. But wait a minute, maybe there's a reason that I'm here. Maybe there's some nugget. Sometimes we find ourselves getting just one little piece of information that refines the way we do everything. So it feels like Leo is trying really hard to get the lesson from the universe. Leo's opening themselves up and saying, universe, there must be a reason that I'm right here, right now. Where is Leo right here and right now? We have got the Page of Wands sideways. It's weird because I'm thinking that this is a story where our Leo has already had quite a bit of success in their life, but perhaps they're feeling like either the universe is putting them through a test, like knocking them down a little bit, and they're having to relearn something or do something all over again. And they're like, I thought I already knew how everything worked. How is it that I'm this age or this accomplished and I got to learn something all over again, or I got to learn something new, or I got to, put something, I have to alter the way I'm doing something. I thought I was rocking this. It's like Leo is either losing interest in something and they're trying to regain it. So they're trying to learn something new. Again, we keep getting pages. It's challenging Leo to look at things with brand new, fresh eyes, whatever Leo does. I'm picturing this could be maybe a career path, or maybe just the way Leo lives their life, or the way they are involved in some, activity or community related thing. But it would be worthwhile for them right now to pretend like they don't know anything and assess things with a fresh pair of eyes. This could mean assessing their own work with a fresh set of eyes. This could mean assessing other people with a fresh pair of eyes. I really think this is a very accomplished Leo who's actually being asked to step back into the role of student and learn a lesson or learn something that is right there for the grasp, right there for the taking. But they have to step back and say, imagine I don't know anything. How would I see this? What's my impression? Oh, we have a King of Cups and we have the Magician. This is how the universe, well played universe. The universe is pulling a Mr. Miyagi right now. Remember Karate Kid, the wax on, wax off, and the kid's like, you're not teaching me anything. I'm sick of this. All I'm doing is painting your house and washing your cars. And then he shows him how he was helping the boy to learn, kinesthetic memory and actually working on his muscles, learning the motions that he'll need in order to become the Karate Kid. It feels like the universe is trying to teach Leo right now. Leo, step back from your position of high authority and expertise in your life and who you've evolved into, and pretend you're not who you already are, and be a new, fresh kiddo who doesn't know anything yet, and look at the world, look at yourself, look at life through a lens of, maybe there's a lot of stuff for me to learn. I thought I've learned a lot. And the universe says, but pretend you haven't. Entertain the idea that you're new here, that you're new on this planet, that you're new in your job, that you're new in whatever it is that you think you know. And look at it again and get comfortable relaxing your energy, because there's a big pressure that we place upon ourselves when we think, okay, I'm supposed to have mastered this. I'm supposed to be the expert. I've got so many years of my life already lived on this planet, so I'm supposed to know all this stuff. And the universe is like, nah, pretend you don't know again. Give yourself the freedom. Then your expectations that you place upon yourself might lighten up. You might get a new view of things. You might be more tickled instead of stressed. You might actually get a chance to look at life a little bit, I don't know, in a more free-spirited way. And this could be important because what comes next is love. So even though the universe is challenging Leo to pretend that they don't know how like a career works, or to look at their own way that they live their life with a brand new, fresh set of eyes, it's really because the universe is preparing Leo for love. And Leo needs to not come in jaded. This is where the Miyagi move is coming in. The universe is asking Leo to drop their level of expertise and their knowledge base in other areas of their life and be fresh and new and be interested in learning and seeing what's my first impression. If I didn't make preconceived notions about things, or if I didn't have a background knowledge of how the world goes, or I haven't been jaded by the way I think people are. And the reason Leo needs to be fresh and clean and young and new is because love is coming in. And this is going to be somebody that Leo needs to be able to get to know, because I think it's going to be somebody, Leo's never met somebody like this. Somebody emotionally available, somebody who's powerful, somebody who actually is a powerful manifester and leader himself. If Leo has only been the person who's had to hold it all together, lead the way, the universe might be asking Leo, imagine what it would be like if you were new at things and you could be dazzled and delighted and learn new stuff. Now imagine you met somebody who's a leader who maybe would you want to let them show you what they got? It would be hard for Leo to basically hand the reins over to somebody unless they could first conceive of like, let me sit back and see what you got. Show me what you got. Oh gosh, is it a Missy Elliott song that I'm hearing right now? I don't know why, but it won't come all the way into my brain, but something about show me what you got. I don't know. We have the Ace of Pentacles upright. We keep seeing a new way to live life, a new way to do things, and Leo's about to meet a new kind of person. They could be either a Scorpio, a Pisces, or a Cancer. They could also be a Virgo, Gemini, but the bottom line is it's new, it's fresh. They do things in a different way. Leo needs to be able to kind of not feel like they have to lead the way in order to be able to see how would somebody else present if they were powerful and they were a leader. If I'm going to meet somebody who's as strong as I am, I won't ever know it if I don't give them a chance to shine as well. So this could be fun for Leo to sit back a little. I think Leo's about to be pursued by whomever this lovely, lovely person is. And Leo has to be ready to let somebody pursue them a little bit. Let somebody dazzle them. Otherwise, Leo could almost ignore them or steamroll right over them or beat them to the punch. Somebody asks Leo out. Leo says, yes, absolutely. And then they call to make a date and Leo goes, yeah, oh, it's so great to hear from you. Yeah, I was thinking we could go to such and such. I know they're open at this time on that day. And it's like without meaning to, maybe Leo is just so used to being in charge that they might basically not give this person a chance to say, well, Leo, maybe they want to take Leo to a much more special restaurant, a much more fancy, expensive restaurant than the one Leo was thinking of. But Leo was already kind of like, being a mover shaker. This says, let this person take the full lead. Let them present. Let them drive this forward. this is just for a very specific Leo. This is not going to be, a fun story for everyone. Not everybody's going to want to listen to this story. I totally get it, but I don't get to pick the cards that come out. So this is just a very specific message for this particular fictional character who has a tendency not to be bossy. It's not that. This is probably a very responsible Leo. In fact, it's somebody who is very used to being guarded also. That's the other thing. If Leo is going to allow somebody else to kind of lead, maybe even lead in conversation, and Leo can sit back and allow somebody to open up to them instead of Leo asking the pointed questions, saying, okay, we're going to go out. Now it's time that I ask them this and this and this and this and this. Maybe instead it's Leo allows, I'm almost picturing, I know it sounds crazy, but Leo could have a first date with this person. And at the end of the date, they had a great time, but they still don't even know all kinds of stuff that they would normally know about a first date. Maybe they don't know what town this person lives in because that didn't ever come up in conversation. These two were just rapping, having a great time, just enjoying each other's company, talking, laughing, just seeing what the vibe is before you get to maybe some of the nuts and bolts. It almost feels like this is going to flow where Leo is going to meet this person at an emotional level, and they're going to kind of dazzle Leo because they're also very driven. They have a lot of plans. They may talk about, and Leo and they may both talk about all kinds of future plans, the stuff that they're inspired by. And they may not talk very much about their current situations, what their exes have been like. I feel like this is a conversation about the future on a first date. A conversation about the motivation and what makes you smile and all that stuff instead of, okay, have you ever cheated? How many sisters and brothers do you have? What level, where are you at in the family lineup? So I can psychoanalyze, oh, you were the third child. Oh, well, then that must mean this and that about you. What school did you go to? How long have you been in that career? How long, all the bits and pieces, like Leo's not going to play detective with this one. They're just going to let it flow. They're going to allow guards to drop for themselves. They're going to allow this person to drop guards, but each of them they're not going to tell each other everything on the first date. There's still going to be stuff that this is the fun. This is like unwrapping the present, slowly getting to know bits and pieces, appreciating and admiring who somebody is in a different way. We got a 10 of swords and a 10 of wands. God, this is such a wonderful change. This is a low stress dating scenario. And this might be the first time this Leo has ever felt this way, or at least the first time in a long time. It's a reset button. It's like, oh my God, to be able to meet somebody as a human being, not have super high expectations at all, but just rather enjoy conversation, knowing that we don't know everything about each other, knowing that it'll take time to get to know each other, but there's no rush. I think Leo is going to be like, oh, this is so relaxing. I got to talk to a real person, and we laughed and we conversed about stuff. And maybe I don't know their middle name yet, and I don't know their favorite color, and I don't know what denomination they are, if they were born and raised religious or not. It doesn't matter. I just met a really cool person. Got the Temperance card. It's in the reverse. I kind of think that Leo's going to realize, wow, in not trying to create perfect balance or to take the lead in certain things, I didn't realize I needed to relax. I didn't realize that I had been imbalanced because for so long, I always felt like I feel like this is a Leo who was braced for needing to not waste time, needing to be the person who drives conversation, needing to be the person who would push things forward. And they're realizing, actually, I kind of put way too much on myself. I'm so glad I've learned how to just chillax a little bit. With this Ace of Pentacles, this is a whole new way. It doesn't mean that this relationship is going to work out and be the happily ever after forever and ever. But it does mean that Leo does stuff in a different way now. Leo, I think, I'm picturing, some of those. I hesitate to say this because I didn't want to bring in the idea of like a detective, but like those old detective shows, like, is it Columbo? Where he seems to be kind of like doddering and kind of always moves around the information that he's trying to actually ascertain. And I almost feel like Leo is going to be more of that. Like, let someone reveal who they are instead of Leo having to sit there and have a checklist of what they ask somebody like it's a job interview when they're dating. I think Leo is going to kind of, I'm going to say, drift into getting to know people, lean into it, and allow things to unfurl a little bit. Not immediately talk too much about the highs, extreme highs and extreme lows in life, but rather just be kind of present. And I think that that is a huge relief to this Leo. I think it's going to actually yield greater results of getting to know people at a more authentic level. And it takes the pressure off of Leo of having to be like, okay, let's get this done. Let's get in. Let's have a cup of coffee. Nope, they're not the right person. They're off. They didn't hit 3 out of the 5 marks that I needed them to on my checklist. So I move on. Leo's not approaching anything like that. Let me just see. What is the outcome? Because we got that Ace of Pentacles twice. Strength card. There's Leo in their very best. This Leo is super dynamic. This is their year. This is the year of the snake, year of the serpent. And we have a Leo who's really changing their formula. And it doesn't mean that they're any less of a leader. It means that they lead in maybe a more thoughtful, quiet, pondering way. They're taking a lot of pressure off themselves. They already know that they can lead really well. They know that, let me put it this way. One of the many, many years ago, my first job ever was, first official job was, in the restaurant industry. And, you work with a lot of different people. And one of the best chefs I ever worked with, he led in a real quiet, calm way. There was a lot of leeway given, but he was also, he realized we don't all do things the exact same way, but he kind of see how our own personalities did things. And then if he needed to step in and be like, okay, that's grossly wrong, so we need to course correct this. Let's get you a little bit more training here or there. It was always done though with this energy of like letting people be who they were for the most part, and then supporting them in the areas that they were like really confused and doing exactly the wrong thing. But for the most part, it's like still didn't take away your personality, didn't try to turn you into a drone, didn't micromanage, just a real relaxed energy. And that kind of leadership was something that I so admired, because it was not something that I found a lot of in any walk of life, actually. And I've always thought I appreciated that memory of that particular chef, because he was really running the place too. And I just remember that stood out to me in my whole life as like a really great kind of leadership. That wasn't micromanaging. He commanded a lot of respect, but so well liked, loved, in fact, like everybody adored him. And yet he ran a good tight ship at the same time, but nobody ever felt compressed and stepped on. And I kind of feel like that's what Leo is now. That's who they are. Very nice quality energy on that. All right, you guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Really appreciate you.